Yo, what's up my fellow broke DIY enthusiasts and nerd neck producers? In today's video I'm going to be building a new rack unit with shelving on the side, big enough to fit some guitar pedals and mics. A piece of studio gear like this online can cost close to $1,000, but I built mine for a couple $100. $250 in 5 2x4 foot walnut plywood sheets from Home Depot, $40 12U rack rails from Amazon, and about $60 in stained polyurethane screws and pegboard hardware to hold my patch cables and some mics on the side of the unit. First thing I did was write out all my measurements and cuts. I wanted my rack unit to be the same height as my desk, which is 30 inches. I have 12U rack rails, which are 21 inches, and I wanted the shelves to be big enough to fit a big muff pedal, which is just shy of 6 inches. So that leaves me with a rack unit 30 inches tall and 28 inches wide with a 9-inch toe kicker, and a front slant going from 24 inches deep at the bottom to 18 inches deep at the top. It's a lot to take in, but if you start designing with the gear that you want to fit in mind, you'll be able to design something that fits your needs perfectly. Alright, let's build this thing. I started by raw dog cutting with a circular saw, and luckily it started to rain, stopping my madness of eyeballing straight cuts. I switched over to the table saw and used the circular saw with a guide track for some of the tougher cuts. That way all my cuts are actually straight, and when I go to put this thing together, everything lines up correctly. Remember, always measure twice and cut once. I can't afford a screw up. I've only got 5 sheets of wood, just enough to build my rack unit. For the toe kicker I ended up using a jigsaw, which was a little bit wonky, but I figured when I went to go assemble I can always sand it down to be a little bit straighter. So before assembling all my cut pieces, I pre-drilled the holes and countersinked some wider holes. That way the screws are a bit more tucked into the wood. That way when the whole rack unit is done, it looks a little bit neater. Now it's time to start putting everything together. Once all my cuts were together, I started doing the really tedious part: sanding, staining, and adding polyurethane. I rounded off the corners and edges and sanded down the toe kicker so that the floorboard fit perfectly on the front. When I was done adding the polyurethane, I let it harden for a couple hours and I brought it into the studio. I attached the rack rails and pegboard and put all the pieces together. I got a couple battery-powered LED lights to go inside the shelves, which I thought looked sick, and started moving all the gear into my new rack unit. Here it is. It's not perfect, but it's custom and I love it. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time.